Hello children, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're staying safe at home. Today I'm here to start a new chapter in biology, that is the flower. Okay, now you know that reproduction is the most important function of any living organism. Why? So that the species will continue living on and on, generation after generation. So in flowering plants, this function is performed by the flower. Now you know the flower is the most beautiful part of a plant. Now in biology, if you are to define a flower, you will define it as a specialized shoot in which the leaves are modified into floral structures. Okay. Now you know a flower is always held in position by a stalk. So this is the stalk by which you hold a flower, and the biological term for stalk is pedicel. Okay, name the following. If I ask you stalk of a plant, you have to write down pedicel. Okay, so you know the function of the stalk or the pedicel is to support the flower. Now, in some cases, the flowers may not have a stalk. Supposing this is the stem, okay, and you will see that flowers are directly attached to the stem without any stalk. So this type of flowers are known as sessile flowers. Sessile means flowers which do not have a stalk. Now the tip of the stalk is swollen up. You can see this portion here. Okay, and it is swollen up. It is enlarged to form a cup-shaped receptacle. Okay, receptacle means the part where the floral structures are born. Okay, so the floral parts that you see in a flowering plant are arranged in four whorls. Okay, four whorls, that is from outside to the inside. The first whorl is the sepal. So in this diagram, you can see two sepals. This is one, two sepals. Collectively, they are known as calyx. So there may be 5 sepals, but it is one calyx. The second whorl is the brightly colored petals. Okay, so petals are collectively known as corolla. So there may be 5 petals, but one corolla. Okay, the third whorl is the male part of the flower, which is made up of a long filament. This is the filament, and a bilobed anther. You can see how this anther is divided into 2 lobes. 2 lobes. Okay, and it is one stamen. It is known as a stamen. So here in this diagram, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 stamens, but it is one androecium. So collectively, it is known as androecium. Okay, and finally, the fourth whorl is the female part of the flower, which is made up of stigma. This is the stigma, style, and ovary. So inside the ovary, can you see the 4 tiny dots that I have made here? That is the ovule. Okay, ovule, which will later turn into seeds. So the female part of the flower is known as pistil or carpel. It is also known as carpel. Here you can see I have drawn only one pistil, only one carpel. Collectively, it is known as gynoecium. So a plant may have many pistils but one gynoecium. Okay, so next, moving on to complete and incomplete flowers. A complete flower is also known as a perfect flower. That means a perfect flower has all the 4 whorls. That is, it has the sepals, petals, stamens, and pistils. Or collectively, they are calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. And when we talk about an incomplete flower or an imperfect flower, imperfect flower, one or more of the floral whorls are missing. Okay, now there are 2 parts of a flower. One is essential and the other is non-essential. Okay, so essential means the part which is directly related to reproduction. Okay, and non-essential means they are non-reproductive. That means they will not directly take part in reproduction, but they help the male and the female gametes to come together. Okay, so when we talk about the essential whorls, we are talking about the stamens, the male part of the flower which has the male gametes, and the pistil or the carpel which has the female gametes. Okay, and when we are talking about the non-essential whorls, we are talking about the sepals which protects the flowers, and we are talking about the petals which attract insects for pollination. Okay, so the non-essential parts, they protect the reproductive part of the flower and they attract insects for pollination. Now next, moving on to the sepals and petals. Okay, in some cases you will not be able to tell the difference between sepals and petals. They may both be green in color, so they look like sepals. Remember, sepals most of the time are green in color. Okay, so they are green in color, so they look like sepals. So collectively they are known as tepals or perianth. Okay, perianth, when you cannot differentiate between the sepals and petals, what are they known as? Perianth. So if it is green in color like sepals, then it is known as sepaloid. And if they are colorful like petals, then they are known as petaloids. Okay, so there is a sepaloid perianth, green in color, and petaloid perianth, which may be colorful. Now next, moving on to bracts. Okay, when a flower arises at the axis of a leaf-like structure, that structure is known as a bract. Now here, this purple colored leaf-like structure you can see are bracts. This is the diagram of a bougainvillea plant. Okay, so actually they look like petals. They are very colorful, but if you look at it properly, you will see the actual flowers right at the center, cylindrical. These are the actual flowers, but they arise at the base of colorful bracts. Okay, so you can see the actual flower is very small, cylindrical, and attached to the inner side of the bract. So the bracts is present there to help the flower attract insects for pollination. Okay, now next we come to nectaries. Okay, what are nectaries? Nectaries are nothing but they are groups of nectar secreting cells. You know what is nectar? Nectar is a sweet, fragrant liquid which the flowers produce to attract insects for pollination. Okay, so the nectar attract insects like honeybees, okay, or butterflies. Now if you go to page number 34, you will find the diagram of the bract bougainvillea. If you look at the diagram, you'll understand which flower I'm talking about. And you will also see figure 4.3. You will see nasturtium. It is a common flower which grows wild. Okay, and you will see the pointed tip at the end is the prominent nectary. Okay, it is very, very prominent. So nectar is produced inside here. Now moving on to the sexuality in flowers. A flower may be bisexual. Bisexual means it has both the male and the female part inside one flower. So when we talk about male and female part inside one flower, we are talking about stamens and pistil. That means a bisexual flower is a complete flower. Okay, that means it has all the four whorls. Or in some cases, the flower may be unisexual. Unisexual means it may be a male flower or a female flower. That means in a male flower, what is missing? The female part, that is pistil, is missing. And in a female plant, what is missing? The male part, that is stamen, is missing. That means the male flower will have only stamen. That means it is called a staminate flower. That means this is a male flower. And female will have only pistil. So it is a female flower and it is also known as pistillate flower. Okay. Now example of a bisexual flower: hibiscus, rose, lily and tomato. Please go over your text. It is on page number 34. Okay. And example of unisexual flower: papaya, palm. Okay. Now finally we come to a neuter flower. Neuter means it does not have the male or the female reproductive part. That is, it does not have stamens, it does not have pistil. Okay, example is the ray florets of sunflower. That is the yellow bright petals that you see in sunflower. What are we talking about? We are talking about a neuter flower. The ray florets of a sunflower does not contain the stamen, neither does it contain the pistil. Okay, so we will do till here, children. Please go through the chapter, underline the important parts, and it is on page number 33 and 34. In the next upload, I'm going to talk about the general description and the function of the various floral part. Have a nice day. God bless you.